Hello guys and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm here with ReZero Season 3 episode number 14 reaction. So the previous episode we had two things happen. First and foremost we have Al fighting Capella. Capella tried to imitate Priscilla, but Al, it didn't really bother Al. Al was able to go against her, and I don't know what exactly happened. He did kind of defeat her, not really defeat her. I don't think the battle has ended. It'll probably continue. But yeah, we kind of stop in the middle over there, and then we move on to Garfield and Kurugan. I think that was his name. And Kurugan was probably one of the most respectful enemies we have actually fought. He waited for Garfield to get ready. It was also said that Kurgan used to bring out all his swords, which is four of them, which only shows, like, when he brings all of them out, it kind of shows and indicates that he is giving his all. He's showing proper respect to the opponent. And at first he was using one of them, but in the end Garfield kind of goes against his own demons, his whole Elsa thing that happens in his head. He was able to fight against that, and then eventually Kurgan took out all his weapons, four of them, showed Garfield the respect, and fought him and got defeated. In the end, he said, "Well done," or something like that. Right, and now I think we will be focusing on Wilhelm and Astrea. I think so, at least. Let's see what happens. Let us begin. I'll be putting the subtitles and the timer here. Sync it to whichever is your preference, and let's get started. Okay, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, this is Astrea and Wilhelm. Huh. It's crazy to even think that this is actually Wilhelm. He looks nothing like he looks now. I know he's old now, but still. Hmm. God damn. Wait a minute, this is too damn loud. Yeah, her eyes are kind of hollow, so she's not in her mind. It's like she's mindlessly just. Oh. Okay. Damn. Yeah. Yo. Yup. She is the real deal. Oh my. What the hell is this guy doing here? No! Oh my god, he's gonna get cut. Good lord. You have such horrible timing. Wait, did I call her Astra? Oh my god. I'm sorry, guys. I made a mistake. I mixed her name up with something else. Oh boy. Okay, Reinhardt is probably going to come. I'm sure. Yeah, you are in. Oh, well, I guess he cannot even escape from here unless until someone comes and saves him. Yeah, Reinhardt is definitely coming. Oh boy. Okay, Reinhardt is coming. There you go. I knew it. Whoa. One blow. Bro, you go home. Oh, good lord. Oh my god. Yo, reality's bending as he's taking out his weapon from his sheath. And I remember he mentioned this sword only comes out when it acknowledges the opponent. Oh, that's it. That's it. I think. Yeah. Oh, she came back. Her eyes. Okay, so Theresia was like Reinhardt before. Like, how absurdly, like, he can literally ask for blessings. I'm guessing Theresia could also do the same back when she had her blessing. Okay, I think we'll get our answer here. No, there's someone. What? Damn. Hmm. Right. Oh, so this is something that goes in the family. I see. So they were waiting for one of the brothers to get it, but I guess she got it. Oh, damn. The- oh, no. That sucks. Demi-human war. Is that the brother? Yeah. Oh, no, please don't. Oh, okay, okay. I thought he was going to try to wield it or something. Oh, oh, Astra is their name. It's just a last name. Okay, okay. Teresa von Astra. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh no. Yeah, and that's why I am guessing a lot of people. Oh, did her brother survive, or he probably? Yeah, yeah. It was concealed. Oh no, everyone. Hmm. Oh, she loved flowers. It was crazy. Wilhelm actually defeated her. If you remember, yeah. Like, I know if she went all out, she probably would easily defeat him, but still. And he answered. If you remember, during the fight against the whale, he answered that. Hmm. Right. Yeah. Oh, wait, she probably like put him into sleep or something. No, wait, what? Oh, yeah, okay, so she did something to. She doesn't look 50. Good lord. Oh boy. Yeah, that's a huge death flag. Good god. Yeah, and she lost her blessing at this moment, and Reinhardt got it, right? And that's why Reinhardt blames himself. If that didn't happen, the whale would have probably been dead. Like she could have easily taken it out. I think so. Oh boy. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Oh wait, Pandora? What? Yeah, what the hell? What is? Oh, she cannot take it. Oh god. Okay, what the hell happened there? We still actually have no information about Pandora. Like who she is, why, what type of power she has. I feel like Heinkel also probably blames himself because he's the one who kind of said that, oh, like, you should go. Yeah. Oh boy. Well, is there something? Yeah, there is. What? Oh yeah, you need a smack on your face. Keep your nonsense to yourself. What is he talking? Are you dumb? This, oh god, this guy's. Yeah, you think people will listen to you? You absolute. Wilhelm, can you please discipline your son? What? When did he? Okay, you know what? You know what? I have a few things to say after this in the discussion section about this dude. He's actually pissing me off now. Hmm. And as he says, he doesn't see that as. Uh, damn. Yeah, he's not his grandson or Heinkel's son here. He is the Sword Saint Reinhardt. What a. Oh god. I think someone's going to swoop in and kill him or something. That's what I thought for a moment. Because this freaking show does weird stuff now and then. Okay, yeah, and that is today's episode. All right, so we had the battle between first Wilhelm and Theresia, then Reinhard just one-shots her, and then we had that conversation, and we have Heinkel throwing a tantrum. There you go. Now, a few things to talk about here. First and foremost, I want to talk about Heinkel here. You know, I just cannot fathom the fact, like, I can understand where, like, why he's so mad, why he's so, like, or at least I think I understand. I might be wrong though. That's why I'm going to, kind of talk about him here. Number one, I think I think there's some sort of jealousy going on, like, like not jealousy, I would say, but probably like a sense of helplessness that is working on him because of the fact that he was never, or because isn't that how it should go? The sword saint that gets passed on, it should have gotten passed on to him, right? Or someone, like in the same generation as him, if he had any brothers. I don't think he had any brothers. I think so. I don't think so. So that's how it goes, right? If through every generation. So if you think about it, Theresia's blessing got transferred to Reinhard. So his generation is the only generation that got skipped, right? So I think that's number one. That's one thing that is probably just frustrating him. And I wouldn't really call this jealousy, because I think it's wrong to call this jealousy. I'd probably say this is like a sense of helplessness about the fact that, oh, my son got it, my father, was obviously not my father, my mother had it, and then my son got it. I'm freaking useless. This helplessness, this feeling of helplessness probably is something that festered within him for so long that it actually became like a dark and ugly thing, which like beats its head out sometimes, like jealousy. It's basically envy, that is like affecting him. Envy for his against his own son, maybe, I don't know. Like that's just that's one reason I think that why he acts like this. Number one. Number two, he probably blames himself in his heart for, as you saw, he was also the reason he said something about Theresia going and joining the battle. Theresia went. That is why here when we see Wilhelm fighting Theresia, and Theresia got cut, he was like holding his head, and it was probably sorrow and him blaming himself partially for the reason why his mother died. And that's number two. Number three, if I can understand properly, I'm assuming his wife died during childbirth. I'm not 100% sure, but there was a scene here which indicated that. Wait a minute, let me go back. Yeah, you see there's this one, I'm guessing this is Heinkel, right? Wait a minute. So in the little montage thing, you see Wilhelm with Astria is a little baby boy. I'm guessing that's Heinkel. Then you see Wilhelm, teaching Heinkel to fight, swordsmanship. While Theresia is looking at, that whole scene. Then we have the scene where Heinkel has brought a girl. It's like she has like long blonde hair, and I'm assuming that's his wife. And then wait a minute, just a minute. We went through many things. Yeah, and then okay, here it is. Her wife is bedridden. Sorry, his wife is bedridden, and he was like holding her hand. Okay, either she died during childbirth or she died late. I don't know. Oh, never mind. That okay, never mind. Yeah, scratch that. I was looking too much into this. I don't think she died during childbirth, because you can see Reinhard is here as a baby boy. Okay, you know what? I'm not really sure. I don't think she died during childbirth, because if that's what happened, you know, like, then I would probably say that is also something that makes him, I don't know, like a little bit, like she has like a negative feelings towards Reinhardt, because it would kind of mean that Reinhardt took, his wife away from him, in a way you could say that. But I don't think she died during childbirth. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but because while reacting, I thought it seemed like she died during childbirth, but I don't think that is the case, because you can see immediately after that scene where she was holding Heinkel's hand. The next scene you can see Theresia and Wilhelm were holding Reinhardt as a baby, and their facial expressions were pretty happy. So I don't know. I don't think she died there. She probably, I'm not even sure if she's alive or not. But yeah, anyways, I think I made a mistake there. But yeah, just scratch all of that, because I genuinely thought she died during childbirth. Because but and if that was the case, then I would say that that was also another reason why he probably like is a little bit bitter towards Reinhardt. Like, I know obviously, like, it's not Reinhardt's fault if that was the case, but still, like, human mind, like, we know something is not rational, but we still kind of ponder and still go in that direction. Like, that's literally how human brain is. Even though we know something is not right, sometimes we still just go down the same lane. So yeah, anyways, I'm not really sure about that, so scratch that whole section completely. Yeah, anyways, but yeah, that is the reason why I was saying, like, like, maybe these are the reasons. But that thing I still stand by. I do think he kind of blames himself about his mother's, like, because here, Wilhelm gets pissed off. He's like, oh, is Heinkel right who said this? Where's that part? I have made up my mind. Is it Heinkel? Yeah, that idiot putting senseless ideas in your head. Yeah, so it was him who put this whole thing. Yeah. So I think that is also the reason why Heinkel probably blames himself. And like I said, the fact that he never got the blessing, I'm guessing that probably brings in a sense of helplessness in him as well, because because before, as we saw Heinkel, it was pretty obvious he was like an alcoholic. He was this completely irrational person, bitter type of a human being who tries to just say nonsense about his son, and just like try to just make a whole big deal about him, and just like tries to just butt heads with him. It seemed like that way when we got introduced to Heinkel, and we still see here in this episode as well how he's still going off on and on about his son. I mean, about how you're the one who did this, you're the one, why did you do this? I'm going to tell everyone that you're not this and that, and I'm like, bro, you are embarrassing yourself. Stop. That is your freaking son. What is this? Like, seriously, with good god, I just cannot, man. Like, yeah, so I think these are the reasons, like probably why he's this bitter, and he's just this much of a pathetic human being. Like, you cannot really get mad at him, because he had his fair share of stuff, unfortunate stuff. But at the same time, that doesn't really give you the right to try to make other people's life miserable. Like, this is something that I always say. Even if you have some sad thing that has happened to you and everything, it gives you no right to make someone else who is okay, it gives you no right to make their life miserable, just because of the fact that you had a bad past, or you had something unfortunate happen to you. you know you have no right to try to do the same to others. Like that, it doesn't give you, having a sad past or having something like that doesn't give you a free pass to do whatever the hell you want to. That's not how things go. So, and here more because of the fact that he's his son. I'm like, bro, are you for real? What is this? Isn't he supposed to be your son? Like, what the hell, man? Right. And then again, I also feel like like I said, he probably blames Reinhardt himself a little bit. Like, he blames himself. I'm pretty sure, like I said, I'm 100% sure that he blames himself for his mother's death as well, because he's the one who put the whole idea in his head. her head. But at the same time, he probably kind of has a resentment towards Reinhardt as well, because Reinhardt is the one who, like at that moment, who got the blessing. At that unfortunate moment where Theresia was in the battlefield. That bad timing. So that's probably why he probably has some, like, I know it's this if this is the reason why he has some kind of he dislikes Reinhardt, or he has some kind of grievance with Reinhardt. Like, I know it wasn't really under his control. Like, what can Reinhardt do about it? Like, the whole blessing system that happens is just random, and it just happens, I'm guessing, like, in randomly. There's no set time or date, like, oh, like 2 years later on this day at 10 p.m. the blessing exchange will happen. There's nothing like that. It just happens randomly. So I'm sure he himself knows, and he himself realizes that it is completely irrational and illogical to blame Reinhardt for this. But at the same time, he probably just does. He probably blames himself, he probably blames Reinhardt, and he's just bitter throughout, like, the whole thing. Yeah, so yeah, that's what I think about Heinkel. He's just an unfortunate man who is pretty damn annoying. But like I said, like, I feel like as a father, this is ridiculous. Come on, man, that's your son. Like, why are you acting like this? Good God. Yeah. Now there's another important thing that happened, which we didn't really know, I think. Pandora. What the hell? How did she, like, what happened there? So Pandora was there when Theresia goes and attacks her. Like, we've seen this before as well. Regulus did the same thing as well to Pandora. He just destroyed her, if you remember. And then, like, 5 or 6 minutes later, she just pops out of nowhere again. So some kind of shenanigan going on around, going along with Pandora, like something going around with her, like, some kind of power or whatever. We still don't know what it is exactly. But here again, we see the same thing in action, I think, when Theresia, like, cut her off in two, but she just appears behind her, and she didn't really kill her or anything. I don't know what the hell she exactly did. Like, Theresia just fell down, and that's it. She just died. How the hell did that happen? I have no idea. It's probably something related to his power, her power. You know. So yeah, and there's another thing that always confused me. I'm not really sure. I remember she introduced herself as a witch of vanity, I think. Yeah, right. I like. Here's the thing. Like, we've met the witches, like all the witches we've met. I think all of the witches are based on, like, the seven deadly sins, right? Vanity isn't really a sin in that sense. Like, it's not really written like that, is it? This vanity is not within the seven deadly sins. So I'm kind of confused. You know what? Let's just wait. I feel like we'll get our answers later on, because Pandora, whoever Pandora is and what's going on with her, is probably going to be revealed later on. Now this arc we were, like, focusing on Regulus, Corneas, and the others. So their secrets are already out. I guess anything related to Pandora will be revealed later. But when it was revealed that when she said that, oh, I'm the witch of vanity or something, I did think, I was like, wait, vanity? What? Like, what do you mean by witch of vanity? We've already met all the witches. And not only that, vanity isn't really part of the seven deadly sins. So what's up with that? Yeah, I did kind of question myself. So I have a lot of questions about Pandora, but I guess all of these will be revealed maybe like in season 4 or 5. I don't know when. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, now we know, like, Pandora was involved with, like, Theresia's death. Right. Okay. Was there anything else? No, and obviously we see Theresia's, like past a little bit. We've already seen Theresia's past before, in that episode, but here we get it in a more, like, proper way. We get to see a lot of the scenes. Yeah. And the final scene, you can see where Heinkel is throwing a tantrum. He's like, oh, you see what happened? Like, you're the one, this reason why this happened. Now the position of the sword saint is yours in both name and substance. There you go. Right. Congratulations. Like I said, this is just, it seems like someone just completely bitter because of the fact that he got something that he didn't, Heinkel didn't. This just seems like, yeah, so petty. Now there's no denying the rumor that you let the previous sword sense, yeah, and stole her divine protection. Okay, what is he talking about? Like, yeah, I can understand what he's saying. He's saying like, oh, now that we have seen you kill her, basically this shows that you're the one who killed her and took her divine protection. But what are you on about? That is, yeah, that did happen now, but what you're saying is a full on lie. First and foremost, Reinhardt got his blessing back when Theresia was fighting the whale. So he didn't kill her and take her a blessing. That's not how it goes. You know, she lost her blessing first. It got to Reinhardt, and now he killed an already dead body, as he says, as Reinhardt always like mentions here. Like, that wasn't her, that was a dead body. But I guess this is way more like, you can see like, Reinhardt kind of does that because he was trying to kind of like, because he was like, oh no, this is not my grandmother, this is just, yeah. But obviously that was Theresia, or at least in the end, at least she got her whole consciousness back. But yeah, anyways, Heinkel kind of goes off over here. He's like, are you satisfied, aren't you? And Reinhardt is like, I'm afraid I don't understand what you're saying. That wasn't my grandmother. And he's like, oh, don't get cocky. No matter what you say, it doesn't change what I saw. It's true that you cut down my mother, Theresia van Astrea. I'll tell everyone. Okay, what the hell is this, man? I'll let the whole world know. No, and make sure no one accepts you as a source. What are you going to say the word that, oh, my mother who's supposed to be dead suddenly came back and like Reinhardt killed her again? Is that what you're going to say? Like, he is just going off nonsensically. Like, his words doesn't even make any sense. It seems he just wants a reason to put this whole thing on Reinhardt, and he's just petty and bitter about the fact that he has the blessing. That is how this whole scene kind of seems like. If you told me that these two aren't related, I would actually probably believe you, because this is not how a father acts. A proper one, at least. He's not, I guess. He's freaking, yeah, but it's just, I'm sure you'll say whatever you have to say to hold on to the title. But a sword sent who killed their own flesh and blood, the sword of the kingdom. And he's laughing. Don't make me laugh, you murderer. Yeah, okay, anyway, you know what? Enough of him yapping. I just don't care. Then Wilhelm is like, stop. Just don't, And you can see Wilhelm says, like, Reinhardt, what did you, what did you say? You didn't kill my wife. Oh no, he's asked like, what did you do? What you did here, was it right? And he says like, yeah, I did what I did was right. I would never regret that. Indeed, that is right. And then he says here that you're right and I am wrong, because obviously Wilhelm wanted to be the one who like puts the final finishing blow to Astrea, Theresia, and he multiple times told Reinhardt that stop, yeah, but you can also say that at the same time it was also his emotions like affecting his judgment, clouding his judgment, and that's why Reinhardt came and didn't give him the opportunity to continue the battle. Because if I feel like if the battle continued and Wilhelm kept fighting Theresia, even if he's capable of, he probably would not be able to cut her down. And Reinhardt didn't want him to do that, face that, or didn't want him, and he knew that he probably wouldn't be able to do it. So he stepped up and he took that decision. And obviously, he always blames himself for taking his grandmother's blessing and indirectly killing her. So Reinhardt probably thought that, yeah, let me be the one to dirty my hands. Neither my father nor my grandfather needs to take this. I'm a murderer. Um, let me take the the responsibility of putting an end to this whole thing. That's why he came out and he fought. And you can say Wilhelm also like understands that, and that's why he's like, you're right, I'm wrong. But at the same time, his emotional attachment to Astrea is something that probably nobody will get or nobody will understand, because like neither will Reinhardt nor will like Heinkel. Like they have their own emotions and feelings about you know Astrea Theresia themselves, but what Wilhelm shared with Theresia is one of a kind, and neither his son nor his grandson will ever be able to understand, be like be in his shoes. And that is why he said like, you're right, I'm wrong, because he probably would have worked like like gone off of on his emotions, and who knows how this battle would have ended if Wilhelm kept fighting. He probably would not be able to deal the finishing blow to Theresia, and who knows, eventually he probably would have perished. Okay, and then he says like, so I have nothing more to say to you. Your strength will surely be needed elsewhere in this battle. And then he calls him, please, Sword Saint Reinhardt, though. Like, instead of calling him, like Reinhardt or whatever, he gives his official title, because obviously, at least this is how I think, he was like saying that, oh, you are not my grandson or Heinkel's son in this situation. You are supposed to be the Sword Saint Reinhardt, so go and help everyone who needs the help now. Yeah, and let me be with my wife. And he leaves. Anyways, yeah, like I feel like there's like a lot of emotional, like like just like entanglement here going on between like all these different emotions. We have Wilhelm's feelings for Astrea, Theresia. We have Heinkel's own troubles. He probably blames himself, at the same time he blames his son, and he's bitter about his son, like all of that at the same place. He probably hates himself as well, and he's like, oh, I hate everyone, I'm going to kill everyone, and he just goes off at the end. Wilhelm is obviously sad. He wasn't able to be the person to deal the final blow to Astrea, but at least he had the conversation in the end. Like they said what was unsaid up until now, or he verbalized it, while Astrea said that, oh, I know it, like you silly man, like I can always, like even if you don't say that, I can see it in your eyes, I can see it in your mannerisms that you love me, but they still said it in the end. And like all, like in a way that was a closure for him, you could say. Reinhardt also was able to not let his grandfather dirty his hands, because that is his wife, so he took that like blood in his own hand, and like, yeah, did the like attacked Theresia for him in the end. Yeah, so all these things is a bunch of mixed emotions, entanglements all over the place at the ending part, at least. um you know but yeah, Heinkel is annoying, like really, like it's just, I don't know, like, yeah, anyways, whatever. Okay, right. And yeah, and there you go, that was today's episode. Other than that, throughout today's episode we actually saw, like like Theresia's past a little bit, because a lot of the things that we never saw, we saw them. For example, Theresia loved flowers. She was like tending to flowers and everything. Suddenly one day she got the blessing, you know and her brother wanted to be the Sword Saint, but you know he wasn't chosen. So Theresia was sad at that fact, but her brother was like, it's fine, like, yeah, like I love swordsmanship, that's why I kept doing it. you take your, yeah. And then it took her a while to take up the sword as well, because obviously you cannot expect her to suddenly like take up the sword and be like, oh, okay, I'll deal with everything. She was just like a young girl, like, who loved flowers, and yeah, if you suddenly like throw her into the battlefield and tell her to fight wars and stuff, like, you cannot expect her to suddenly do it. Yeah, so it took her a while, and then in the end she was able to take up the sword. Yeah, but then we all know what happened. Wilhelm came and became the reason for her to not take up the sword anymore after defeating her. And like I said, I feel like it's crazy how Wilhelm was able to actually defeat her. But I'm sure, like, Wilhelm, Theresia probably didn't go all out. If she like actually went all out, like we see Reinhardt going all out, in these couple of episodes, just randomly asking for blessings and just doing some crazy stuff. If she actually did something like that, I'm pretty sure nobody could defeat her. Like, let alone Wilhelm, nobody like could have probably defeated her. But she probably didn't use any of blessings or anything like that. She just fought him normally and got defeated. Like, pure skill wise, pure, like, battle prowess and swordsmanship wise, Wilhelm probably bested her. But her with her blessings and yeah, I don't think Wilhelm is not doing anything to her, or at least I think so. Let me know. That's how I think, because how, like, it's absurd. We've seen Reinhardt doing some crazy things. He went to the moon and came back. You think someone like that, who can get blessings like that willy-nilly, would get defeated that easily? In no way. So I don't know. I don't think, like, she used any of the blessings against Wilhelm. She just fought him normally, and yeah, Wilhelm was able to surpass her just pure skill wise. Yeah, other than that, yeah, obviously Wilhelm couldn't defeat her if she actually went all out. In no way. But yeah, who knows, I might be wrong. Let me know. Like, at least this is what I think. Right. Yeah, and there you go. That is what happened. But yeah, either way, it's still impressive that he was able to he was able to reach that level, at least. That he was able to fight the Sword Saint and was able to defeat her, even if she didn't go all out. Still, it is pretty damn impressive, because I think, like, with the blessing comes a lot of, like, skill as well. Because if you saw, like, that section where when she got the blessing, it seemed like she suddenly understood everything about swordsmanship and how to fight. Like, she could immediately see every single opening that her brother had. Like, her brother has been fighting for like 2 years practice, or more than 2 years practicing her sword, and this girl who was just tending to her flower suddenly got a blessing, and immediately the next day she was able to defeat his brother. Obviously it is because of the blessing. So I'm assuming with the blessing comes in a lot of, like, skill as well with the sword. So with that, like, the fact that Wilhelm, without any blessing or any of those shenanigans, the fact that with pure skill he was able to contend her against that and was able to defeat her, even if she didn't go all out, still the skill and everything, a lot of it was because of the blessing. The fact that he was able to do that is pretty damn impressive. Yeah. So there you go. Okay. Right, and there you go. That was that. That was my reaction to today's episode. That was my overall impressions of today. Okay. All right. Yeah. And yeah, there we go. That was that. Now, let me talk about this episode scene by scene. In the very first scene, you can see Wilhelm comes, that scene where Theresia is, like, sitting in front of the flowers, and Wilhelm comes. Wilhelm is like, who the hell are you? What is a woman doing here, like, with a sword? And she was like, oh, you like flowers? Right, and that is how their whole story begins. We are back to the battle. Wilhelm fighting Theresia, and Wilhelm kind of recalls the unsaid, like, thing that it was left unsaid, that Theresia said that I'm going to say after I come back, but that never happened. So yeah, Wilhelm is fighting her, and you can see that Theresia is not really in her mind. Her eyes are kind of vacant and hollow. And then Heinkel comes in, completely distracts Wilhelm. Wilhelm gets stabbed in the leg, and then Heinkel falls down. Theresia goes and starts targeting Heinkel, while Wilhelm is like, "Stop! Don't do it! You're fighting with me. Don't look anywhere else." Obviously trying to protect his son, but yeah. And then Reinhardt comes in and confronts. You know what? I just realized another thing. This freaking guy, Heinkel, was yapping and yammering about how he killed his mother, his grandmother and stuff, and how he was the one who dealt the final finishing blow here. And he was like saying stuff like, "Oh, I'm going to tell everyone you killed the Sword Saint, the previous Sword Saint," and stuff like that. Bro, he saved you. Where would you be if he didn't come and do that? You would have been there up in the sky. Like, what the hell is wrong? Oh my god, there's so many things wrong about this guy, Heinkel. Like, first and foremost, that's your freaking son. Second, you would have been dead if he didn't come and do that. And third, like, what type of a. Okay, you know what? I never even thought about that up until now. Like, seriously, Reinhardt doing that actually saved him. Teresa would have killed him here immediately. She was not in her right mind. Oh my god. Good lord. Yeah, this guy is just absolute ass. Like, again, like I said, you might have trauma or whatever. You might have, like some bad things happen to your past. But why are you being like this miserable, person to people who has done nothing wrong? Like, I don't know. And especially towards your son. The same person who literally saved your life 2 seconds ago, and you're telling him that, "Oh, I'm going to tell everyone you can." Okay, yeah, this guy is just whatever, man. I just cannot. Anyways, yeah. So in comes Reinhardt, and he takes his sword. His sword actually, like a response, and he said this before, that his sword only responds to someone worthy, and that's what happens. And good lord, his sword, as soon as he takes it out, it seems like the whole dimension was like warping around it or something. Like everything was like moving. Yeah, this sword is something else. Anyways, while Wilhelm is like, "Please don't do it. It's like she's my Theresia," and he's like, "No, that is not grandmother. That is, like, that is someone. My grandmother is dead." Yeah, and he just goes and kills her, or puts an end to her. Now, I guess you might say that, oh, like it might seem like, oh, why was Reinhardt acting like this cold? But I think it's probably because, like, I just talked about this a few moments ago. It's probably because of the fact that he wanted to be the one to dirty his hands against her, because he didn't want his grandfather to do something like this. Because, like, in a way you could say that, like, Wilhelm did want to end this with his own hands, but at the same time, he probably wouldn't be able to, because he loves her too much. So he probably wouldn't be able to deal the finishing blow. And at the same time, I feel like Reinhardt didn't want him to stain his own hands with his wife's blood, the person that he loved so much. So that's why he decided to be that person who who does it, and that's why he was acting that cold over here. He was being like, "Oh, that's not someone, that's just a corpse," something like that, he said. Right. Anyways, so after that, we get the little flashback of Theresia getting the blessing and then suddenly defeating his brother, and his brother, and she kind of like hated herself for being the person to get the blessing, because she was like, "My brother gave everything to this, and now I got it suddenly, like me, who cannot even fight." So yeah, in the war against the demi-humans, here she was there, she was like, on the battlefield, but she couldn't take up his sword, so her brother took up the sword. And yeah, a lot of people died. Her brother died, one after the other. All her brother died, ended up being victims of the battlefield, and she had to take up the sword by the end of it. After that, we get to meet Wilhelm. Wilhelm comes and challenges Theresia. We know what happens after that. Wilhelm keeps fighting, keeps training, defeats Theresia to prove to her that, yeah, like, like, you don't need to wield the sword anymore. Someone weaker than me doesn't need to do that. And okay, so this part, as Theresia says, why do you wield a sword? This she said the same thing, in one of the previous episodes as well. In season 1, we saw this scene. But yeah, why do you wield a sword? He says, to protect. No, not this part. There's another section where he says something about. Wait a minute, where is that part? Oh, it's a little bit before, I think. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, here we go. This part. I win. You're weaker than me. There's no reason for you to wield a sword anymore. She says, if I don't wield it, then who will? He says, I will inherit your reason for wielding a sword. And you need to become my reason for wielding a sword. That is such a hard line. I remember this line even in season 1. Good lord, this is such a good line. I don't know why. Like, he says that wait a minute. It's such a hard line. I just forgot. Wait a minute. Okay. If I don't wield it, who will? I will inherit your reason for wielding the sword, and you have to become my reason for me wielding it. Yeah, that is crazy. Oh, that's such a good line. Anyways, I just wanted to mention this part. Okay, and then we get that little montage of everything that happens from then onwards. Yeah, and then we get to that scene where yeah, when she wants to go in the whale hunt, while he's like, oh no, like why did Heinkel put you up to did Heinkel put this stuff in your head? But like she was like, no, I will go, don't worry, it is me we are talking about, everything is fine, I have the blessing. And then so that Wilhelm doesn't follow her, she put the divine protection of the death god on her. So you now cannot follow me. If you do, your wound will never heal. Yeah, I'm guessing that is the wound that he was talking about, right? Yeah. Anyways, so he says like, even if the like my blood keeps flowing, I'll still go. But she's like, stop it. You stay here, and I'll come back, and everything will be okay. And then I'll tell you, like yeah, what was left unsaid. And then obviously in the whale hunt, we see she loses her ability, and yeah, then she like her whole army, she also falls down. Then suddenly Pandora comes in. Yeah. Okay, Pandora says a few things that are kind of interesting. First and foremost, the sword doesn't come out from the sheath. Then she says, I see you dislike me. No, wait. Right, so Pandora says, what is this? A lone woman all the way out here. How brave you must be. And yeah, and then she says, I see you dislike me now. So she takes up a random sword, attacks Pandora. Yeah, and in the end, she knew that she was going to die here. So she says, like, in her head, she was like, hopefully you don't get bound. Hopefully more encounters come in your life except the sword. But yeah, like we all know that nothing like happened. He was bound to Theresia up until the very end. After the whale hunt, he was a little bit more liberated, and yeah. But now after fighting Theresia, he was like, I have to do this. Yeah, and he takes Pandora out, and then Pandora just appears behind her. I want to understand you. And she just dies. Yeah, I have no idea what the hell happened here. I guess we'll get to know more when we get to know more about Pandora. Anyways, Now, Teresa opens her eyes, and Wilhelm like is crying, and he says, he's like, I'm going to say what I wasn't able to say. He's like, oh, you silly man, I obviously understand. In the end, they say goodbye. They say, like, say the word at the same time, that they like each other. Yeah, and that's where it ended. And then after that, we have the whole section with Heinkel just throwing a tantrum and being like, oh, I'm going to tell everyone. And Reinhardt is like, nah, like, I just killed a corpse. So, Indian Wilhelm says that, yeah, you're Sword Saint Reinhard van Austria. Everyone needs to go. You're right, I am wrong. Yeah, and he leaves. And in this ending part, you can see when Heinkel is like, oh, what the hell, Dad? Like, Dad, you can't go alone. And he says, you don't need to worry about me. You only need to think about your own safety. This line. That is enough. Which kind of shows that he tells Heinkel that you just keep worrying about yours. Because that's literally what he's doing. He's just fussing about himself and, like just wallowing in his own self-derision, self-pity or whatever. That's why he's acting like this, immature, in front of his own son and father. So yeah, that's what he says. He's like, you don't have to think about me or anyone else. You just think about yourself. That is enough. Just keep doing what you're doing. And just leaves him. And then he's like, oh, I hate everyone. All of you should just die. I was genuinely thinking someone's going to pop out and just kill him. I don't know why. Just, like, it's like something that happens randomly in anime, and this is ReZero we are talking about. So I was actually thinking like, oh no, like, is something going to happen? Like someone going to just drop in and just kill him or something? I know, nothing like that happened. But yeah, like Heinkel is just pathetic. But at least we have a little bit of a closure for Wilhelm and his wife. Reinhardt did his job, and yeah, again, there you go. That is it. That was my reaction to episode number 14 of ReZero Season 3. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to press the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, or you haven't subscribed. Comment down below anything you want to say, anything you want to let me know. I'll check them out. That is it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next week with another episode of ReZero. Until then, goodbye and have a nice day.